Hello again. Let's look now in this small video a little bit better at methods of a class. So there is basically 5 types of methods that we can define in a class. So there's constructor methods, modifier methods, accessor methods, destructor methods, and static ones. So let's start with the constructor methods. Constructor methods are, like the name implies, methods that are called when you construct or instantiate an object. So this is typically called when we use in Java the keyword new. We create a new instance, and that's where the constructor method is called. So the constructor method, what it does is initialize the variables of a new object. And so in many object-oriented programming languages like Java, the constructor methods have the same name as the class. So here on the slide we see again the class circle with the variable color and radius that we've seen before, and here now you see the constructor method. It's got the same name as the class, it's called circle. It's got 2 parameters, C and R, that respectively get the color and the radius of the new circle object that you want to create. And here you see what it does. It assigns the value of C to our attribute color, and it assigns the value R to our attribute radius. So here, for example, we see C1 is new circle pink 3. So we instantiate the class circle and create a new object C1. And what happens is that the constructor is called with these 2 arguments, and this results in this new object circle C1 with color pink and radius 3. So other type of methods are modifier methods, or they're also called update methods or mutator methods or setters. Because what these methods do is change or set or update the values of the variables in an object. So they actually change the state of an object. So here we've already seen some of these methods in the previous examples. So here we see our class circle again with the variables, with the constructor method that we've just seen, and here you see an example of a modifier method. Set color. It changes or it sets the different color for an object. So here we have our circle that we just created on the previous slide. It created an instance of the class circle with color pink and radius 3, and here we say on C1 call the method setColor and set the color now to green. And what happens is that the state of our object changes such that afterwards circle C1 has the color green. Here you can see it. So these are modifier methods that modify the state of an object. The third type of method is an accessor method. These methods you can use to obtain the value of a variable. They're also called getters because they enable you to get the value of a variable in a specific object. So here we have our class circle again with the variables, the constructor method, the modifier method that we've just seen, and here you see the accessor method or the getter. It says get color and it will return the specific color of the specific object. So here we have our famous pink circle again with radius 3 that we just created, and now over C1 we call the method getColor, and this will return pink because, as you can see, the state of circle C1 at this moment is that its color is pink. Then we have also destructor methods, and as the name already implies, these are methods you use to destroy an object. You just throw it in a bin because, for example, you don't need it anymore. Not all object-oriented programming languages have methods for that. For example, the language Java doesn't have destructor methods because it takes care of all this garbage collection for you automatically. But C++, for example, does have it, and the way it's being indicated is by the name of the class, but with this thingy in front, such that you know that you don't want to create one, but you want to destruct one. The final type of methods are class or static methods. These are methods that are defined at a class level. So these methods do calculations for a class as a whole, and they don't need object instantiations to do it. They don't depend on a specific state of an object. They depend on information we have in the class. For example, a method that calculates the amount of objects or the amount of instantiations that we have created of a class. This is typically something we can calculate at class level. So this is a class method, it's static, and we don't need to create any instances before we can call this method. So we've seen 5 types of methods. And in the next part, we're going to look more at hierarchies of classes and inheritance.